10 years ago, football witnessed one of its most unbelievable fairy tales. Today, that same club is heading into the third tier. Leicester City, once champions of the Premier League, are now preparing for life in League One after a 2-2 draw with Hull City confirmed their relegation. It's a fall that feels almost unreal. Back in 2016, Leicester shocked the world with their 5-0-0-0-2-1 title win, a story that still defines modern football. Just a year later, they were facing Atletico Madrid in the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. Fast forward to now, and they'll be competing alongside clubs like Bromley, a side that spent most of its history outside the professional leagues. So what went wrong? The warning signs began quietly. After winning the FA Cup in 2021 under Brendan Rodgers, expectations were high. But behind the scenes, financial pressure, particularly linked to the club's ownership business, limited investment in the squad. Rodgers himself admitted the club needed to reset expectations. That alone marked a shift. This was a team that had been chasing Champions League places, narrowly missing out in back-to-back seasons. Then came the slide. Despite having quality players like Jamie Vardy, James Maddison, and Yuri Tielemans, results collapsed. Rodgers was dismissed in 2023, and even the arrival of Dean Smith couldn't prevent relegation from the Premier League. Since then, instability has defined the club. 7 different managers in just 3 years. Styles constantly changing. No clear direction. There was a brief recovery under Enzo Maresca, who guided Leicester to the championship title in 2024, but that momentum didn't last. The club cycled through Steve Cooper, nearly appointed Graham Potter, and then turned to Ruud van Nistelrooy, who struggled badly. Things only got worse. Martí Cifuentes briefly steadied the ship, lifting Leicester to mid-table, but was surprisingly sacked. His replacement, Gary Rowett, arrived late, and results dipped further. Off the pitch, there were deeper issues. A points deduction for financial breaches dragged the club closer to danger. Reports suggested a culture of complacency, a belief that everything would somehow be fine. That mindset proved costly. Tensions also began spilling into public view. After a defeat at Portsmouth, midfielder Harry Winks clashed with fans, a moment that summed up the growing disconnect. But perhaps the most significant turning point came years earlier. In 2018, owner Vichai Srivaddhanaprabha tragically died in a helicopter crash outside the stadium following a match against West Ham United. His leadership had been central to Leicester's rise, from clearing debts to building a title-winning squad. His son, Ayawat Srivaddhanaprabha, inherited both the club and the responsibility at a young age. While committed, he faced enormous pressure, and some within the club believe too much reliance has been placed on long-serving executive John Rudkin. Former defender Robert Huth described the leadership as well-meaning but in need of support, a sentiment echoed by many close to the club. Fans, meanwhile, are struggling to process the speed of the. According to Fox's Trust, this hasn't been a slow decline, it's been a collapse. From dreaming of Europe to dropping into League One in just a few seasons. And financially, the situation is just as serious. Heavy losses, a wage bill that once exceeded revenue, and loans from Macquarie Group have left the club in a fragile position. With lower income in League One and strict spending limits, rebuilding won't be easy, especially with high-earning players still under contract. So where does this leave Leicester City? A club that once defied all logic now faces one of the toughest rebuilds in English football. The fairy tale isn't forgotten, but right now, reality has hit hard. And the next chapter may be the most difficult one yet.